All right. So again, welcome to everybody. This is Susan Mershon, the Techie Mentor. I welcome all of you. Some of you I know, some of you I don't know, but thank you all for spending a little time with me today. Today we're talking 5 tips on building a WordPress website. So as I've mentioned, and I'm just going to repeat, this is recorded. So if you have to pop out early, no worries. It usually goes out within 24 hours of the live presentation. You will also have access to this PowerPoint presentation. So if you're hurriedly taking notes as I'm talking, because I have a tendency to talk fast, you'll have the recording and you'll also have the PowerPoint presentation for future reference. Okay. So let's get going. I want to start by talking about the agenda. Then I'll do a quick introduction to me and we'll dive right into the material. We're going to talk today really about, we're talking WordPress, but we're going to talk some things about selecting a hosting provider and really going to talk about the difference between Wordpress.org and Wordpresscom, which is a very common question people have. And then what to look for when you're going to host your website and all the things that go with that. And then what information do you need to have on your website, right? What kind of information do you need to have so that your clients or your potential clients understand who you are and what you're all about? Determining the best theme for yourself and your website, which plugins to use, and then we'll talk best practices, and then I'll open it up for a Q&A session. Now, Joyce, yes, you will get a recording and copy of the slides. So if you have to pop out because of time issues, don't worry about it. You will, because you signed up, you'll have access to everything. And I'm sorry for any confusion. And I like to have a very interactive presentation. So, if you have a question or a comment, you have one of those aha moments and you want to share, please feel free to type it in the questions panel there at the bottom of the GoToWebinar window, and I'll grab them as I can. And Joyce, you're welcome. So this is me, for those of you who don't know me. My name is Susan Mershon. I am the Techie Mentor. I am a former virtual assistant of just over 4 years. I am now a virtual assistant trainer and mentor, but I not only train and mentor virtual assistants, I also do the same for solopreneurs. And just quickly, my story, I promise it won't take too long. As I mentioned, I'm a former virtual assistant, but I'm also a former corporate employee of over 20 years. My entire corporate career is in IT, and I've done everything from basically software instructor, courseware designer. So, doing what I do today is second nature to me because I did it for so many years, all the way through project management. And basically what it came down to is I just grew tired of working for other people. I'm sure like many of you who are now, forging a business of your own. I just wanted more freedom with my life. I had a late in life baby. My husband and I were blessed, and I just got tired of all the corporate crap, the politics, and everything that has to go with it. And it really boiled down to my livelihood, right? My financial livelihood was not in my own hands. It was in my boss's hands, whether or not she thought I did a good job or not. And when it came raise time, between you and me, 2% isn't really a raise. And I'm here in the US, and 2% isn't much. So I just got tired of leaving my financial security in someone else's hand and decided it was time to go home. I had an infant. I didn't want him to have to go through daycare. So I ventured into virtual assistants and I built my business while I was employed in a corporate position full-time, and I had an infant at home. It was crazy at the time, but I managed to get it done and become a virtual assistant, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing to be. And then after 4 years of doing that, I've got restless and wanted to go back to my real roots, which is training. So that's kind of where I'm at today. So that's kind of my story in a nutshell. You're certainly welcome. If you're interested to know more about me, you can stop over to techiementor.com and read all the nitty-gritty details on my About Me page. So thanks for listening, and let's get started. So first of all, WordPress. All right, WordPress is really the website that you should be using. So for those of you who are new to either being a virtual assistant or just a new business owner, whether you're a solopreneur or you have employees, WordPress is really the website of choice, and for a number of reasons. One, it's free. Can't beat free. So you don't have to pay for it like you pay for Microsoft Office, right? It's free to use. Now you do have to pay for hosting, which we're going to talk about here in just a minute. But another benefit of WordPress is it's incredibly simple to use once you get a bearing of how it works. So in other words, you don't have to be a programmer, right? And you don't have to pay thousands of dollars to have someone create a website for you when you can learn how to do it on your own. Because really, even if you're not techie, you're a technophobe, you can still learn how to use WordPress because it truly is easy. So WordPress.com, WordPress.org. This is a common question. First of all, they're both the same company. It's both WordPress. But the difference here is one of these is a hosting company and the other is actually the software. So WordPress.com is actually where you can go to get a free website. So if you're brand new to business and you don't have the income to either learn how to do it yourself, pay somebody to do it, you can run over to WordPress.com and you can get a free WordPress website. Now, you don't have to pay for hosting. And just for those of you who don't know what hosting is how you get your website out to the world. In other words, how it makes it to the web. Okay. You don't just build it on your computer at home. You have to have a way to blast it out to the world. And that's what web hosting is all about. So that's WordPress.com. And then WordPress.org is actually where WordPress lives. In other words, that's where if you were going to install it yourself and have it hosted, you could grab a copy of the software, kind of like Microsoft.com, right? So, oops, got a question. Hold on. Do you have to know how to write code? You don't know how, blah, blah, I can't type. You do not have to know how to write code to use WordPress. So that's one of the benefits. And that's what makes it so popular, is you don't have to have that technology level in order to use it. So WordPress.com, again, is the free hosting for WordPress. If you don't have a website and you need one, by the way, if you're in business today, you have to have a website. Nobody goes to the yellow pages to look people up anymore. If you go to a networking event and you hand somebody your business card or you talk to them on the phone, they're not going to look in the yellow pages for you. They're going to go to Google and they're going to look for you. And if you don't have a website, sometimes people get suspicious of whether or not you're truly a business owner, right? Maybe it's just a hobby. Maybe you're just a freelancer. So you really need to have a website. And this is one solution, a very easy solution for those of you who are tight on funds. You can just go to WordPress.com and you can set up a free WordPress account. Now, the problem with WordPress.com is it's very limited in what you can do. One, you don't own your content. They do. Which means if you break one of their rules, they'll shut your website down and all the content that you've put on there is no longer available to you. They took it away. The other limitations that you have is what are called themes. And we're going to talk more about themes as we go through this presentation. But basically a theme is a template. And the template is really what governs how your website looks. Okay, you're very limited to that. And plugins, what plugins do is they add bells and whistles to your WordPress site very easily. And so you're limited on what you can do with those. But if you don't have a website, you need one, this is a solution for you, be it short term, but you still would have something up there. So if I went out and I looked you up on Google, I could find you. Sheila, if I already have a website with another provider, can you still have your website pointed to WordPress for hosting if you wish? So no, you have to have WordPress.com, you have to build it on WordPress.com. So for instance, Sheila, if you have a WordPress site on GoDaddy, right? And I'm just using that as an example. No, you can't push it back over to WordPress.com. You'd have to move from WordPress.com to someplace else. Does that make sense? Okay, good. Okay. And WordPress.com, again, is a great starter website. Don't have one? Great place to start. And you could just create a one-pager. So you could just be a one-page website that just basically spells out the benefits you provide, whatever business you're in, right? What benefits do you provide your clients? You know, if you're a business coach, maybe you help get people unstuck or get out of their own way, right, in order to flourish in their business. If you're a virtual assistant, for instance, what benefits do you provide? Well, you help save business owners time and money by outsourcing things they shouldn't be doing, right? And then you have your contact information, right? Your contact information can basically be your phone number and an email address if you want, okay? But this would be enough. If somebody wanted to know more about you, they could Google you, they would find this website and say, oh yeah, okay, you know, Sheila is really in business and here's how I can find out more about what she does. WordPress.org. Okay, now this is what I say the home of WordPress. So for any of you who use Microsoft products, like I'm a Microsoft person, you know, if I need a question answered or I want some support on Microsoft, I go to Microsoft.com, right? And I would be able to look up answers to my questions or anything like that. Well, that's kind of what WordPress.org is. Okay. WordPress.org is where you can download a free version of WordPress, but you can also get support. So if you have questions, you can also get plugins and you can also get themes. Now remember, plugins adds bells and whistles to your website. Things like connect buttons, right, for social media. Things like calendars, things like images, tables, all kinds of fun things. And the benefit of themes is you don't have to know how to code to add these bells and whistles to your website. Another beauty of WordPress. And again, themes give you the layout of your website, so you don't have to start from scratch. In other words, you don't have a blank sheet of paper to start with. You have something that you can start with and then tweak to make your own. Okay. So that's the difference between those. So, why use WordPress.org versus WordPress.com. First of all, if you want to have control of your website, you really need to have it self-hosted. And to be honest, self-hosting isn't expensive. You can go to HostGator or Bluehost and you can get it for, the price of a large cup of coffee. And I don't drink coffee, but, it's less than $5 a month. And we can all find a way to cut corners to afford the $5 a month, because let's be honest, your number one business asset is your website. Think about it. For any of you who have an online business, which means you're not in a building somewhere, right? You're not brick and mortar. How do people find you? How do people find out who you are and what you do? Your website. So isn't it important that your website be crisp and clear so people understand what you do? So it's real important that you understand, to have complete control of that number one business asset, you should really have a self-hosted website using WordPress. So this way you control your website. Nobody else controls it. Remember how I said WordPress.com controls it? Well, if you self-host it, which is what we're talking about, you control everything. Everything belongs to you. All the copy, everything that goes on belongs to you. And I apologize. I have a low helicopter flying over my house, so I don't know if you can pick up the static. So hold on a second. I'm letting him fly over here real quick, so he's not, even though my doors or my windows are closed. The perks of working from home. Okay, sorry about that. He's gone. Everything belongs to you, no restrictions. So there's no restrictions on the content that you can add, the themes that you can use, the plugins. It's basically your website. The only thing you have to do is pay your monthly hosting bill. Everything else you control. Okay. And here's another thing. Oh, actually, I'll wait until we talk about this in hosting here in just a minute. Kind of jumping ahead of myself, which is host providers. So now we talked about WordPress. Let's talk about hosting. So as I mentioned, you can get hosting for less than a large cup of coffee. And that's monthly, $5 a month. You can pay yearly if you want to. And with that $5 a month, you can get really great service and you can get really great features to host your website. And why do I need a web host, right? Well, I need to be able to blast my website up so people can find me. Okay, it's not just sitting on my computer at home. It needs to be up in the cloud. And how you do that is you purchase web hosting. And there's several reputable web hosting firms that you should go with. Okay, but this basically tells you what it is, what's self-hosted. Okay, it lets you get your website out to the world. What to look for when you're looking for hosting for yourself. Or even a client, if a client has come to you and asked for help for this. You really want to look for, tech support, right? How available are they to you if you have an issue? Now, I recommend HostGator. Why? Because I've been a HostGator client for over 5 years and I've never had any problems. And when I have, their tech support is awesome. They have both phone and chat. I'm a big chat person. I like to work and let chat sit in the background until I'm ready for them. And I mean, they really have helped me in so many ways. So, HostGator's great. Bluehost is another that I've worked with through clients in the past. HostMonster is another. I do not recommend GoDaddy, only because for some reason WordPress and GoDaddy don't play well together. It's one of those things that just can't be explained. WordPress has problems with GoDaddy. Now, with that said, if you have GoDaddy already, don't panic. It still works. But I'm saying if you're just starting out looking for hosting, I don't recommend that you go with GoDaddy. You can buy your domains there, but I wouldn't host there. Okay. So again, back to this, what to look for: tech support, 24/7. Easy to use what's called a cPanel, which is a visual interface. So you can actually go in and add software or create emails or whatever you want to do. It just makes it easy for you to find your way around, because realize in order for you to add things to your website or to anything that has to do with your website, you're either going to log in through WordPress or you're going to log in through your hosting site. Okay. Storage space. Make sure you have plenty of space for all the goodies that you're going to add. Bandwidth. This is important. This is how quickly things upload and download. So if you've ever been to a website and it takes forever for it to load, could be a number of things. It could be the bandwidth, but it could also be your internet connection, things of that nature. So bandwidth is real important as well. And all of this stuff you can look at when you go to sign up for web hosting. You can look at the different packages they have, right? The more you get, well, the more bandwidth you have, the better. The more storage space you have, the better. So in this instance, more is the way you want to go. Number of domains. So if you're anything like me, I own over 50 domain names, and I'm one of those people that just collects them. And in order for you to have a website, you need a domain name, which is usually your business name or your name or one of your products' name. And you have to have the domain name before you can actually create the website. Okay, so it's domain name followed by website. So you can have multiple domains, which means you can host multiple websites. Like I have many websites. I don't have just one, I have several. And my hosting platform allows me to have as many as I want. I have unlimited. So I have, I have the techiementor.com, I have the vaschool.com, plus I have all these different sales pages for all the different products and services that I provide. You also want something called easy install. So if you want to install any software, it's very easy. It's just a couple of clicks and you can get it done. I mean, literally, it'd take you 2 minutes to do. And then you want to have email accounts. So if you have a business, you want to be able to have a business email address. So like my business would be susan@techiementor.com. You would want the same thing. You don't want to use Gmail or Yahoo or Outlook or any of those free services because you want to be seen as a legitimate business owner. You want to be able to use your domain name. Okay. Some sample hosting packages. Now this is just ideas. Okay. This is monthly. Right? Starter packages from 3 to 5, business packages from 14 to 16. And you're going to find they're all really closely priced. But here's a couple things I want to point out to you is, first of all, you want to go with a reputable company, somebody that, they're in the business to provide hosting, not your neighbor, right? Or your friend's son who has a server in his garage. That's not a good way to do business, because if they shut their server off, and your server is just a big machine, if somebody has your website on their server and they turn it off, guess what? They turned your website off, which means it's not on the web anymore. And what's your number one business asset? How do people find you if you're an online business? Your website, which means you're losing money. So my point to you is don't cut corners so much with hosting. This is your livelihood. Your website is your livelihood. So you want to make sure that you have the hosting that you need. Okay. And like I have the business package through HostGator, and I pay $15 a month for unlimited everything. And I've never had any problems with it. And again, you can pay annually if you like, but here's some reputable companies. I put WordPress on here only because you can do a free WordPress site if you like. But these first three, Bluehost and HostMonster, those are the ones that I've used. I recommend those. They're great. But find one that works for you, right? Find one that works for you. They're all very similar, and they're cPanels, which means is how you interact with your website. They're all very similar. Excuse me. And again, I know that these three have great service because I've used them. Bluehost, HostGator is who I use. Bluehost and HostMonster I've had some experience with previous clients. So some tips for you again. Review customer feedback. So go out and if you're trying to decide what hosting package you want, ask friends, ask colleagues, Google it, see what kind of reviews you see for customer feedback. And then, just do your due diligence, as I would say. You can start small and upgrade. So if you don't want to go for the $15 a month business package because you don't need but one website, then just start with the $3.95 or $4.95 and upgrade. They'll upgrade it for you. All you have to do is call them and say, you know what, I'm ready to move up to the next level of subscription. They're happy to move you up to the next level and do everything that is needed. Choose a reputable firm. As I mentioned, don't go with your neighbor's cousin's son that's in the backyard of somebody else's house, because that's an issue that could happen. I've heard more horror stories from previous clients where, they had somebody who created their website for them and they hosted it for them. And then one day they just disappeared along with their website, along with their livelihood, right? I mean, think about it. If you have a consistent stream of traffic on a website and then all of a sudden the website disappears, what happens to your income? What happens to your revenue? It's gone too. So again, you want to pay close attention to your website. And then make sure you have great tech support. right? If you get stuck, you want to be able to say, hey, help me. Something's wrong. I hosed up something. Can you fix it for me? And most of these places will do it for you, no problem. All right. So remember, if you have questions or comments, feel free to jump in and let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to push on, and we're going to talk now more about websites. So first of all, what's the purpose of your website? And most of us who have an online business, it's to do what? It's to sell something, services, products, or a combination of both. There are some websites that are just personal, right? They're just for blogging and they're just sharing information. But some of those blogging sites, they actually earn money from blogging. So ask yourself, what's the purpose of your website? Is it to capture leads, which just means people coming in? Maybe you just want their information for something. Maybe you're just doing research. Is it to handle customer service? Some of the larger companies in the world, they use a WordPress site just to handle customer service. They may have a separate site that's, for sales and marketing, but they have a separate one maybe for a customer. Maybe you're gonna have a membership site. A membership site's very, very popular, where you can create content and have people pay to access that content, and you have different membership levels, so different price they pay, different content. So for me, I have a membership site called the VA School, Virtual Assistant School. And it's basically membership, and they basically pay for the type of training that they want. And it's a membership base, and it's a very, very great way to deliver content. Or again, is it just product, services, and sales? So if you're like, I have no idea. So if you're basically somebody who is just starting out and you need a website and you need to earn a living, then you're looking for your website to be your source of revenue, because you're selling a product, whether it's, you're knitting hats or you're a virtual assistant selling services. Your website is how you earn your living. And that's how most businesses nowadays, small business owners at least, or solopreneurs, earn their living, is again, their website. So remember, and I know I say this over and over again, and the reason I say this is because I've heard so many people say, oh my God, my webmaster held my website ransom. They wouldn't make any changes, and I didn't know how to make changes. Because it's your number one business asset, you should be self-sufficient in how to, that doesn't mean you have to do it, but you should know how to do it. If you need to add a page or add a blog or change a password, you should be able to do that. And you should have ultimate control of this asset, not somebody else. Okay. So when it comes to websites, what do you really need on your website? Well, you need obviously content, but you also want a simple and clean design. You want it easy for people to get what you do. And I've seen so many websites that are absolutely beautiful, but I'm clueless as to what they're for. Right? I look at it, I'm like, oh my God, look at these pictures. It's got a cool slider. It's got all these cool graphics. It's got a video, but nowhere on there can I figure out what this person does for a living, or how they're going to, how I can benefit from whatever it is they provide. So the design is important, but the content is just as important as well. You have to be very clear about what it is you do. What benefits do you provide? A confused mind never buys. If somebody gets on your website and goes, I have no clue what this person does, then you've lost a sale or a potential client. So again, simple, clean design needs to be easy to navigate, right? It's not confusing. There's not menus everywhere, or no menu at all, which is even worse, right? How do you get to places? You need some kind of a roadmap, which is what a menu should do for you. Images are great, but no overkill. And use professional images. And what I mean by that is, you can go to places like iStock Shutterstock, and you can get photos that you can use on your website. Like you see all these little photos or images that I use in my PowerPoint presentation. That's where those come from. So that's kind of what I was talking about as far as professional images. I'm not saying that you have to have a professional image of you, but you can. It's also fun to put some more personal images of yourself on your website so people get a feel for who you are. Be yourself. Don't try to be somebody that you're not. Be who you are, because if you're selling a product or service, the first contact a lot of people have with you is your website. And that is the lasting impression you're going to leave with somebody. And as we all know, we only have one chance to leave a first impression, right? So if they come to your website, first impression is they can't figure out what you do, or they're confused. That's not a good first impression. So your website needs to be your calling card. So that's why it's so important for it to be, again, easy to navigate, clear, but you need to be yourself, because a lot of times people, this is how they get to know you, right? And so you write like you talk. And that was hard for me for many years because I was so used to writing either technical documents or writing corporate type documents, which you pretty much remove the emotion from. It took me a while to learn that I needed to let my personality into what I was writing so people could get a sense of who I am. And you want to do the same thing. And you also want to include a free offer. And what I mean by that is a taste of what you do. So if you, for instance, are a logo designer, right? You could actually create a little free offer that says, here are the components that make up a great logo. Because a lot of people are like, what do I need a logo, right? How do I know what to put in a logo? Where do I start? So in other words, something that provides benefit to the audience that you provide services for. So logo tips, virtual assistants. So many people don't know what a virtual assistant does even now. You could include a free offer that says, here's 10 tips on how to work with a virtual assistant, how to delegate to a virtual assistant, right? I mean, virtual assistants are great people to outsource all of your non-revenue based tasks, including your website upkeep, right? They don't own the keys to the kingdom, but they can certainly help you keep it up. You know how to do it yourself, but you allow them the chance to, help you so you can concentrate on other things. So including a free offer, and I would say this, I would not include a free offer that gives away your time because that's your most precious commodity, especially if you're a VA. You need to give away something that's tangible that they can download 24/7. If it's your time, then you have to contend with trying to get them on the schedule. Plus, if you give away so much time, you may not have time left to do what you need to do to earn a living. So make sure that your free offer is something tangible that they can get their hands on. It can be a template, it can be a checklist, it can be an audio, it can be a video, anything that would provide benefits to your target audience. So what do you need to have on your page? Again, you need to have content. Content is king. Okay. And these are just my ideas. You really need to have a homepage. Your homepage should basically list the benefits that your business provides, whatever it is. Okay. And not your resume, because I don't care that, you are a paralegal with 20 years experience. That doesn't tell me what you can do for me. It's what you do for me, not your experience, not your resume. So your homepage is what should capture people's attention. Remember I talked about that first impression? A lot of people land on your homepage. So your homepage should be that first impression, and it should be very clearly stated what you do, what benefits you provide. Not, I'm a virtual assistant. No, I help small business owners save time and money by outsourcing their administrative tasks. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it. This person can help get rid of these tasks that I shouldn't be doing, right? Makes it much clearer. Sandy, how do you suggest capture your free offer with a landing page or capture details into a CRM? I think I understand your question, Sandy. So if somebody comes to my website and wants to download my free offer, how do I capture their contact information? Is that what you're asking? Just so I'm clear. And if that's clear, oops. Okay. What I would do is that's where your email marketing tools come in, like MailChimp or Aweber. You would actually create a link between your website and a list on either one of those tools. We'll just say MailChimp right now. And basically what it would do is that when somebody signed up for your free offer on your website, it would automatically send the information over to MailChimp and store it in a specific list, and then also send them whatever this free offer was. Does that make sense? So you're going to be using an email marketing system for that. And some people call it a CRM, but it's really your email marketing tool. And that's how you actually you link the two together. And there is a plugin for that. For MailChimp, there's plugins. Yeah, some of them there's not. Some of them you have to actually copy some HTML code or a JavaScript code and put it in a widget. But nowadays, people are getting smarter when it comes to WordPress, and they're creating plugins for everything. So you don't have to know how to do anything but find the plugin, activate it, and just kind of point and click to make it easy. Okay? Did that answer your question for you? No, you don't need a landing page for just content or just for people signing up for a specific thing. Okay, so hold on. For a free offer, no. For an opt-in, like that would be an opt-in page or a landing page, but that's separate, right? Then my free offer is separate. Does that make sense? So it's really how you structure your business. So really your website free offer to me is just to get people to know who you are. And they can get a taste of who you are. And then they can decide whether or not they want to continue a conversation with you or not. Does that make sense? So how I do it is I have a free offer on my websites for, whoever wants to grab it. And then I also do webinars to promote other products as well. So that's kind of a choice you want to make. So good question. Okay, so your homepage important. Your about page is about you. Let people know about you, and not, you can tell them your resume there, right? But that's not all they want to know. People like to know about you. They want to know personal things. Are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have dogs? Do you have horses? What do you like to do? Do you hike? Do you bike? So on and so forth. So share some things about you. And another thing I like on about pages is your why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why are you a virtual assistant? Why are you a business coach? Why are you a health coach? Everybody has a why. Everybody likes to hear that story, right? Like I shared my story. I love to hear other people's stories. So you can share your story on your about page. And then of course your products and services. And I just put products/services, and you could combine those under one if you wanted. But basically, what are you selling? We're all in business to make money. We're all here to earn a living and to provide value. So what is it that you provide? Again, clarity is key. You want to have a way for them to contact you, and an easy way for them to contact you. And then a blog. I always say you need to blog because that's a great way to drive traffic to your website. Your website is what makes you your money, so you want to drive as much traffic to that as you can. Okay. You also want like your social media icons so you can connect. So when they go to your website, they can connect to you with Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn. And a call to action. So my call to action is, sign up for my free offer. You can also have a call to action, asking them to do something. And this is where a lot of people stumble, is you have to really direct traffic on your website. You have to be like a traffic cop, right? Saying, okay, if you want to do this, go there. Even though you think it's obvious, to some people it's not. So you need to direct that traffic. And so a call to action can do that for you. In other words, what do you want them to do? Well, if you want to learn more about me, go to my about page. If you want to learn more about my products and services, go over to my products and services page, right? If you want to talk to me, I'm happy to talk to you, and we'll set up a time to chat, right? So you're doing some kind of call to action, and it's always good to have that on every page because not everybody comes through the front door, right? So not everybody comes through the home page. Some people may come through your about page or your blog page because you never know where referrals are going to come from. So have a call to action on every page so people know, okay, what is it that you need them to do? How can I find out more about you, right? Because I want to know more about Sandy and what Sandy brings to the table. So she could have a call to action on those pages to tell me what I need to do. And they can be simple things. It's just as simple as calling you or sending you an email. But a call to action is key. And so remember, you're the traffic cop. You're going to need to direct traffic on your website. All right, so content is king, and really you can write your content and then have like a copywriter zazz it up, so to speak, or clean it up, because you want to be you. You want to be authentic. You don't want to write like somebody else. Now, great copywriters can take what you've done and snazz it up, still keeping it in your voice. Okay. For me, writing is still one of the hardest things for me to do because I have that perfectionist bug. Right? I read it and I go, don't like it. And doesn't say what I want, or it's too long-winded or whatever. So I'm constantly changing it. You have to learn that sometimes good is good enough and let it go, and you can always revisit it. Okay. But you do want to make sure there's clarity in your message, whatever your message is. If you're not clear, your audience will not be clear either. They'll be confused. All right. Some design tips for you. I like very clean and simple designs. That's just me. Because I don't want the design to take away from the message that I'm trying to give to you, right? And again, if I have so much going on a PowerPoint slide or on my website, I lose the message because I'm so busy looking at all the pretty colors, right? That typical entrepreneur, right? Shiny object syndrome. Ooh, look at that thing over there. And then I completely lose track. Oh, Angeline, you will have the recording. So sorry that you're having issues with your connection, but everything will be there for you. Okay. Sorry about that. That's never fun. All right. So with design, use 1 to 2 fonts. Don't go overboard. Have you ever seen those in the old days, Word documents? People used to use all these different fonts, and it makes it hard to read, at least for me. It's the same design here. You want to keep it simple. So use 1 to 2 fonts. Use one for the body and one for accents and headings. So, like heading 1 or heading 2 to call out things. Like you can see here, I have the same font. The only difference is this one's bigger and a different color. You can do that as well. Okay. And when you're using your body font, make it something simple to read. I love those fun fonts that are like handwriting fonts. I'm sure you've seen those, right? But they're hard to read. And again, if your website is your moneymaker and they can't read it, you're losing money. So you want to keep it very, very simple. The last thing you want to do is see you have a lot of traffic, but you get no sales from that traffic. You get nobody who's taking you up on your free offer or anything else. And so then it's time to visit the design, but it's also time to visit the content. Again, less is more. Easy on the colors. Some, like I said, some are beautiful. But you might want to do, again, 1 or 2 colors. And I've just given you a couple of fun links here. This one is the color psychology. In other words, what does red do? What does yellow do? Because colors are emotional. So what do you feel when you see yellow versus what do you see when you see red or blue? And if you're interested in that kind of fun stuff, that's a little link here for you. And then if you want to help you with a color scheme designer, right? Because maybe you like this blue, that you just love this blue, but you're not sure what other colors can go with it. This color scheme designer can help you. Now, obviously, if you have a web designer or somebody's doing logo design, they can help you with the colors as well. But if you're doing it yourself, these are kind of fun little tools to take a look at. So for tips on your website, number 1 is, so use a single menu. Use drop downs for related content. And a drop down just basically means if you click on a menu, it drops down something underneath it. Okay, so if you were to go to techiementor.com, you're going to notice that I have drop downs on those menus. It keeps it clean, and that's just related information. So if I click on products and services, guess what pops up underneath? My products and services. So it's just a very clean design. Reduce clutter, include room to breathe and absorb. In other words, have some white space. Don't cram everything together because it makes it hard to read. So you're going to want to space it out nicely. As you can see that this isn't all, single space. There's some space in between the text on this slide. It's the same idea when you're working on your website. Use professional images. We already talked a little bit about that. Don't autoplay videos or audios. That absolutely drives me nuts. When you go to a website and all of a sudden it starts talking, right? I want to make a choice. Do I want to hear it or not? So leave it up to me. And I've heard that women are much more particular about that than men. I don't know if that's true, but I know it just drives me hokey when I go to a website. Sometimes click on something I didn't mean to when it starts talking. And make sure you have ways to connect. So make sure you have your sharing buttons. So there's 2 different types of buttons. There's connect buttons, but there's also sharing buttons, right? And sharing buttons allow people to share content. Connect buttons are their way to connect with you on social media like Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or wherever you might be. So do we do what we like or what we think others would like? You do what you like. It's your website, right? I mean, you can look at others for ideas, but I would stick with what you like to do and what your preference is. Like I said, I like simple and clean. That's me. That doesn't work for everybody, and that's fine. Everybody's kind of an individual. Just make sure that your content is clear and comes through regardless of the design. More tips. Respect the fold. This is something you may have heard before. So if you take a piece of paper and it's taller, so hold it, so it's up and down, wide, not left to right, but tall, top to bottom, and you fold it in half and you unfold it, there's a line in the middle. Okay, the fold is above that line. So just think of your website as a piece of paper. And what's above the fold is where all the important goodies go, like your connect buttons, like your free offer, like the attention grabbing headline that you want people to go, oh, I need to find out more about this person. Okay, that's what the fold is. In other words, they don't have to scroll to find all your goodies. You want them at the top. You can design appealing buttons. You can create your own buttons in PowerPoint, or this fun little tool right here will allow you to create fun buttons. So like I said, have a call to action on each page. You could create a button that, they click on instead of just a hyperlink, right? That takes them somewhere. That's kind of fun. Write each page like a home page because not everybody comes to the front door. Write like you talk. Use bullets for list. And include links back to your home page. So, and not just your home page, but any page you want them to be able to go to and see. Now, if you're getting a little overwhelmed by all this, don't be, because it's a lot of information, but it's really not difficult. And if you realize that your website is what's earning you money, this is where you should spend your time. This is where you should invest your money to make sure your website is doing its job so you can earn the money that you want to earn. So in other words, you also need to test it, because nothing's worse when you click on something and it doesn't work. Now, it's technology, things break. That's just kind of the way it is, but it's always good to test it just in case, right? And it's always good to have another set of eyes read things. I don't know about you, but I can write something and I don't see very obvious things because I've been staring at it all day. So it's always good to have another person look at it too. All right, so any questions so far? Any questions? Anybody not clear on anything I've talked about? Because I want to jump over and talk about themes because this is real important. So we're still talking WordPress, obviously, and themes is one of the most important decisions you will make on your website. Remember how I said website's your moneymaker, right? And you don't want to fight with your moneymaker. You want to be able to easily work with your WordPress site. Now, that doesn't mean you have to be the one that does all the work. That's what great virtual assistants are for. But you should be self-sufficient to be able to pop in there and do changes in the middle of the night if you see fit and not wait for your virtual assistant to do it the next day. So themes are real important. What's a theme? It really controls the layout of your WordPress website. So it's similar to a template. If you ever used a template in Word or Excel or any of those programs, it's basically what it is. And to me, it's the most important decision you make. I cannot tell you in all the time that I've been actually creating WordPress websites and helping people with theirs is the number one complaint I get is I hate my website. And they know how to use WordPress, but they hate their website. The reason they hate their website is they hate the theme. The theme isn't working for them. So you can always choose a theme that works for you today. And then when you outgrow it, you can choose another. Your content doesn't go anywhere. It just shifts around the layout of the page. So you have to make an important decision when it comes to this. So I'm going to jump over to a website here real quick. So I'm going to leave PowerPoint for a second. This is a theme. Okay, this is a little test website that I've done here. And this is a theme called Znoble. So you can get an idea of what it looks like, right? You can see here's the header. You notice I got my menu up here. I got all these are called widgets or sidebars over here, right? And this is a specific template or theme that I've chosen. And all of WordPress is built off of themes. So one thing you need to realize if you're new to WordPress, you really don't know your way around too much, and maybe you're a do-it-yourselfer, or even if you're not a do-it-yourselfer, you need to understand how themes work. Themes control everything. So you can see that this is the current, what's called the active theme. I'm going to change it to a different one here just so I can show you the vast difference in the way they look. Okay, can you see the difference here? Do you see that it has this huge banner? Now the other one didn't have that, but this one does. So this is the kind of stuff that comes with themes. Themes control everything that your website does. Remember that. Themes control everything that your WordPress site does. That doesn't mean you can't change it, but if you don't know how to change it, then you're going to be struggling with that theme. And some themes are user-friendly and some themes are not. Some things are more advanced, some things are simple. So you have to pick really what your skill level is unless you're paying somebody to do it all for you. I still believe, though, that everybody should be self-sufficient enough to be able to go into their WordPress site and make changes without having to wait. I know when I was a virtual assistant, I would teach my clients how to do things because if they needed to change something, especially those that were in a different time zone or a different country than me, I'm asleep while they're working, they need to be able to go in there and fix something, especially if they're on a tight timeline. Okay, so a theme is what controls everything. And for those of you who are new to WordPress, I'm just going to jump back here real quick to themes. This is where you can find themes. And I'm going to give you some tips here. Gail, what would you recommend? Would you recommend do a backup before changing the theme? Yes. Always back it up before you do anything like that because you never know if it hiccups. And the problem is when you switch themes, sometimes it shifts your content around, but it also loses some of your changes. So yes, I would back it up, definitely. Gretchen, can we customize the theme to put our own logo instead of the theme templates? Yes, you can customize themes any way you want to. And great question, Gretchen, is some themes are easy to change, others are not, right? So if I change back to this one, the one I originally have, one of the things that I recommend that you do when you're working with themes is find a theme, okay, that has this wonderful little feature called theme options. And I know that this one does, so I'm going to click theme details. See at the bottom where it has this word called theme options. And what theme options allows you to do is make very simple changes to your website without having to know how to code, right? And Deborah, I'm sorry, what does back it up mean and how? Backup means you're taking a backup of your entire website. So you know how you back up a hard drive or you back up the files on your computer? It's the same thing, but you're backing up the files that make up your WordPress website. And how you do that is there are plugins that you can use to do that. They're very simple, or you can actually contact your hosting provider and they can help you do that as well. Does that make sense? You are welcome. All right, so back to theme options. So if you're going to take anything away from today, actually, there should be two things you should take away from today. One is that your website is your moneymaker. Okay, so you need to make sure that it is doing its job and that you, as a person who owns your moneymaker, knows how to be self-sufficient and get around in there. The other thing would be themes. Choose a theme that you can work with. Don't make it more difficult on yourself. Okay. And one of the things you can do is search for a theme that has what's called theme options, which is what I'm talking about right here. And if you'll watch this real quick, you'll see how easy it is for me to make changes. I can click on general, right? See, here's my logo. It's already here. I could just hit upload. So to answer your question, Gretchen, you could see I could just hit upload here and I could upload my image, right? Which would make my logo. I can change things like this. I can change my sidebars left to right. So I can put it on the left instead of the right. I can add text here and I can simply save it. You're welcome, Gretchen. Paul, no, Noble Pro is a theme. And if I said plugin, my fault. But when I was talking about plugins, Paul, I was talking about backing up a system. So sorry if I confuse. Sometimes I do interchange my words. So thank you for calling me on that. All right, so you see how easy that was? And then I have one for colors. And look at this. I can actually click on this and go, oh, you know what? I want brown. But then also notice that if I actually have like the hex numbers that belong in my branding, so I have a specific color, red or blue, I can change them right here. Do you see how easy that is? And just for time, I'm not going to go through that, but I'm just showing you. So I click on brown, and then I could also click on my fonts here. Now, each theme has a different set of theme options. Some are great, some are not so great. But I could go in here and change my fonts. I don't even know what these look like. Those are, by the way, those fonts are Google fonts. And let me just show you. Okay, do you see how this is brown now instead of green? It was green before. Okay, and then all my links are brown. That's all that did. Right, but there's my logo again. So just trying to give you a feel for that. Now, one more thing real quick, and then I'm going to move off of themes because we're running out of time. I'm going to show you if I go back to this guy. And by the way, you can only have one theme active at a time. I can hit, customize, or I can click theme details. And notice this one doesn't have a theme options. In other words, it has one called widgets, menus. Mojo themes is a different theme altogether, and then header. So if I say, oh, okay, I want to change the header, I click on header. Okay, well, it takes me to here. This isn't as easy to use as the other screen I just showed you. And also notice there was no place for me to change my font colors or anything like that. So some themes are going to be more difficult to use based on your knowledge. So here's your tip for the day. What you can do is you can click on Wordpress.org theme. So just note for yourself, if you have a WordPress website, you would go under Appearance and Themes. You would click Wordpressorg themes. And the only thing you need to take away is you would choose this feature filter. And remember, this is recorded, so you can always watch this again. Under features, you would just click theme options. And then click apply filters. And what this is going to do is it's going to give you a list of themes that have a theme options feature. I really, really recommend it for those of you who are new to WordPress because this will really help you not struggle with your website. Okay? Deborah, I'm not sure if you already said, but how do you know which themes are the easy ones? That's kind of a loaded question, Deborah, only because it depends on your skill set, right? But what I recommend that you do, if you're looking for a theme and you're not sure if it's going to work for you, ask. I'll answer. I'm happy to answer. You can send me an email and ask me, what do I think of a certain theme, and you can tell me what your level is with WordPress, and I can answer it. But some of the ones that I recommend are like that Z theme that I just showed you. They're called ZEE themes. They're great. They're free. They have great theme options. That's one of the ones. And if you want a list of other ones, I'm happy to send that to you. You can just shoot me an email and I can send you a list. Okay? You're welcome. Kathy, since you can only have one theme active at a time, are all the websites you own under the same theme? No, because they're different domains. So Kathy, the VA school has they have the same theme, but they're different. The VA school has a different theme than, let's say, my Techie Mentor Labs page does, because they're separate domains. I can have separate themes. Does that make sense? Yep, it's not the host, it's the domain. Exactly. Okay, so I don't want to take us over too much. So that's the theme. We talked about what it controls, right? Fonts, colors, layouts. It basically controls your entire website. Okay. You can then go in and make changes to it if you have the knowledge to do so, or you have a theme that's easy to work with. Another thing is fun is this whatwpthemeisthat.com. If you ever find a website you like, you're like, oh, cool, I like that. And you want to know if it's a WordPress site and you want to know what theme it is, you can use this wonderful little tool to find out. And that can help you as well if you're looking for a specific type theme. Start simple because you can always change. I've updated my themes, I can't tell you how many times. And find one that has theme options so you're not fighting with your website. So plugins real quick. What is a plugin? A plugin, as I mentioned, adds bells and whistles to your website. Oops, I realized I have a typo there. So hold on, let me write that down. I got to fix it. Things like great tables or things like images or your free offer or calendars. There's pretty much a plugin that can do anything. It can back up your website. So if there's something you want to do on your website, if you search for plugins, you'll probably find one. And there are free ones and there are paid ones. Same thing with themes. There are what are called premium themes and themes that are free. Okay. The best thing about a plugin is it extends the functionality of your website to do more things, and you don't have to know how to code to do it. You can basically install, activate, and configure, and it's done. So again, if you want to put the connect buttons on your website so people can connect with you, that's exactly what that will do. It's a plugin. If you want to connect your MailChimp account with your WordPress account so you can collect contact information, there's a plugin that will do that too. Basically, the benefit of plugins, it's a point click. If you can point a mouse and click it, you can use a plugin. Okay. Now there are more complex plugins and they're easy. So there's no magic pill here. It's very much a gray area as it is with themes. It depends on your comfort level with WordPress. So which ones? And these are the ones that I recommend, and these are the ones that I actually put on my clients' sites when I build them. You want spam protection. And this is especially if you do blogging, because, we all get on those robots list and we just get tons of spam. And nobody wants to spend time going through 10,000 comments to see which ones are good and which ones are bad. It's a very boring and very time-consuming task. So spam protection can do that. Akismet is free. You can pay for it for multiple websites, but it's very inexpensive. It's like $5 a year. Security, you want security. Why do you want security? Well, you don't want your website to be hacked. Again, that's your valuable asset. That's what you use to make money. You don't want it to be hacked or taken down, because if it's down, you can't earn a living. So security, Better WordPress Security is the one that I recommend. Contact form, great way to have people contact you. You can have a little form on your website that they fill out, you can answer some questions, and they can send it to you so you have the information you need when you go to contact them. Okay. Simple backup. This was the question that Gretchen asked earlier. Backing up your system is making a copy of your content and your WordPress files. This is a very, very simple tool. I mean, it's basically, again, all you do is enable it and then you click to back everything up. It's very simple. And then you can download the backups, and if something happens, you can get in touch with your tech support and have them help you restore it to the way it was before. You want connect buttons. I like the simple social icons because you can make them fun colors and they have different templates. You want a firewall. Firewall is another level of security to keep people from hacking into your website. So the firewall and security, those two kind of go together. Cache speeds up your website, right? So you want to have a caching system so when you're working on your website, it doesn't slow down, or when people come and land on your website, it's not slowing down as well. And then your SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. Yoast is a great one. All-in-one SEO is also a great one. I use them both. But what search engine optimization is, it helps you get found when somebody Googles you, right? And you want them to find your website and anything relevant to your website. You have to set it up for search engine optimization. And when you blog, that helps that too. It helps take it to another level. Okay. So let's talk best practices real quick. Start simple. I can't say that enough. Start simple. Okay. Don't go out of your comfort zone. Don't stretch your comfort zone. Start simple and then grow your website as you grow your business and grow your knowledge. Pick a theme that you can work with. Now, here's a tip for you. If you're hiring a web designer to do the work with you, and I'm nothing against web designers. I'm just saying, make sure that you work together so you're not stranded when they hand you back your website, you know how to work with it, right? Because a lot of times they'll hand it back to you and they may go on to something else and there's no support involved. So you're stuck. You need to have, that's what I say, I preach to my clients, you need to be self-sufficient. You need to be able to go in and do some simple things so you're not waiting for somebody else, right? Simple things. Sheila, can you repeat the other SEO other than Yoast? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, all-in-one SEO. So all-in-one SEO. Talk benefits. Marketing is all benefits. Okay, so remember, not only is your website your most valuable asset, it's your moneymaker. Well, you need to make sure that your content is correct too. Because if your content is not clear and it's talking nothing more than about what you do, it's not going to attract the audience that you want. Your marketing is really all about the benefits you provide, not how you provide it, and not the experiences you provide, the benefits that you provide your target audience. You're welcome, Sheila. Have simple navigation. So it's easy for people to find things, right? If I want to know what it is that Sheila does, she has a services menu. I can just click on it and find out what she does. But if she didn't have anything but a home and a blog menu, then how would I figure out what services she provides, right? Use images. Again, use that white space because that's really going to make a difference. And you know me, I am big on investing in training. Obviously, I'm a trainer, but I am very big on investing in yourself and your business in order for you to be self-sufficient. And I know I harp on that, but again, your website is your most important asset. And if that's how people find you and that's how you earn your living, you want to make sure that it is correct and that you can go in and tweak it. Now, as a former virtual assistant myself, I had a lot of clients that were self-sufficient in WordPress, except they didn't do WordPress only when they needed. I did it all besides that, right? Because as business owners, we should only really do what earns us revenue. So you can be self-sufficient, but that doesn't mean you have to be the one that does it. And then there's the do-it-yourself type that loves to do that themselves. Sandy, I have a WordPress site that is managed and hosted by a third party. Changes take an average 3 days, for example, and it's not 24 tech support. Do you recommend I move? Yes, I do. I would go someplace that you have 3 days. Yeah, I would definitely take it somewhere else. You need to get control. If it's your website, remember it's your website, it's your livelihood. You need to have ultimate control of it, okay? All right, so as you know, when I do my webinars, I always have a product that I'm introducing, and the product I'm introducing today is Build a Website. So this new product that I'm rolling out with, and this is the first time I've rolled it out, is what I'm calling the Build a Website Bootcamp. And this will teach you to be self-sufficient. This will teach you how to create a website from the ground up and everything in between, and also learn WordPress. So that way, if your virtual assistant's on vacation or you're a do-it-yourselfer, you can go in and do whatever you need to do in WordPress. And if you're a virtual assistant, thing for you to learn because you can help clients with this. In other words, you'll know WordPress inside and out, so you'll be more of a value to your clients. And you could also offer it as a service. You could also build websites as a service. So this is a great bootcamp for not only virtual assistants, but also for solopreneurs. You will learn how to build the WordPress site from the ground up. Work with me to pick a theme that works for you. I mean, this is basically building a website, but the benefit to this is at the end of the course, you have a fully functional website. And you can actually take that website, move it over to your own web hosting service and open for business. So if you don't have a website, this is a great way to build one. If you have one, you just need a fresh coat of paint, you want to redo it, this is another way you can do this. So this wonderful little boot camp will allow you to build your own unique website, right? And I give you your own practice sandbox. So in other words, you don't need to know how to install WordPress. You don't even need to know how to spell WordPress. In this bootcamp, I will set you up your own WordPress website that you use throughout the entire course to learn, to practice, and to break things in. And then if you truly build a website that you like, guess what? I can take it and move it over to your own web hosting site and you're ready to go. You're open for business. You've already built it. You have the confidence and you're also self-sufficient. So you have your own practice sandbox, your own WordPress website that you're going to use to build in this bootcamp. You also get the recordings. This is a live bootcamp, as is all my bootcamps. But if you can't make it, you still have access to the recordings, which is huge, which means you can learn on your own time. Or you can keep them, and when you get stuck or need a refresher, guess what? You can go back and listen to them and go, oh, that's right. That's what I need to do. It's very affordably priced. It's far less than you would pay to have somebody build it for you. Okay. You can learn new skills. You can be self-sufficient. And really, for me, taking control of your most valuable asset, the thing that makes you money, that is where you should really put your focus to make sure that it's doing its job so you can earn as much money as you possibly can. And for some, just gaining confidence in using technology. A lot of people get tangled up in that technology. Well, let's face it. If you're an online business owner, you wouldn't be where you are today without technology. So you have to learn to embrace it and you have to learn more about it. So it's 8 modules. So it's 8 weeks. And it's hands-on training. You also get all the documents that you can possibly handle, checklists, tips and tricks documents. As I mentioned, the recording and that student sandbox, which is huge. So that actually gives you a place to play. So in other words, you don't have to go out and pay for hosting. You don't have to go out and buy a domain name to take a boot camp. You don't even have to know, again, how to install WordPress. We take care of all that for you. So here's the details real quick. This course is designed for anybody wanting to learn how to build a WordPress site, whether you're a virtual assistant or a solopreneur in any business. It is 8 weeks and it's priced at $397, and that is far below what you would pay somebody to build a website for you. Yeah, websites start about $500. So you're saving quite a bit of money, but you're also gaining new knowledge. You're also taking control of your website, and you get the recordings so you can listen to them over and over again. So you're really saving money and becoming self-sufficient at the same time. Now, I do have Easy Pay. I have a 3 Easy Pay for this. So if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. I can certainly tell you more about that. It's also on the sales page. This course starts on Thursday, 7/10 at 10 a.m. But remember, a lot of people don't even come to them anymore. A lot of my students never even come to the live versions. They just wait for the recordings, and that's fine. But if you come to the live courses, obviously you can get your questions answered quickly because I'm there for you. This bootcamp also comes with a bonus live Q&A course at the very end, and you get email support, so you can certainly ask questions as you go along. So for you guys, and this is only for you guys here on the call. Oh, sorry, Sheila. How can I connect you offline? Send me a note at susan@techiementor.com, TECHIEMENTOR.com. Susanna, no problem. July 10th. Did I say October 10th, Paul? I'm having one of those days. I'm sorry. It is July 10th. Yeah. So no, it's not. It's July 10th. Sorry, got derailed here. The first 10 people, and this is only for you guys on the call, the first 10 people to register, you're going to get $100 off. It's only going to be $297. So this is only for the first 10. So this is what I would call a fast action bonus. And when you go to the sales page, which I'll give you in a minute, you're going to use this coupon called WP Build. So if you're thinking about it, write that down because you're going to need that in order to get the $100 off. Because when you go in, you'll see the $397. If you click on it and you put in the coupon, you'll get that $100 off. And we do offer easy payment plans. So if you're interested in those, you can shoot me an email, susan@techiementor.com, and I will be happy to talk to you about that. So without further ado, here's where you can go to register. It's buildawebsitebootcamp.com, has all the details on there for you. And it starts, again, July 10th. Sorry, looking at my notes. You don't need to come live. You'll still have access to everything that the bootcamp provides, even if you just listen to the recordings. Paul, thank you. Bottom line, by taking this course, will I be able to build my own website from scratch? Yes, you will. You will realize that it's not that difficult to do this. You just need some guidance and a roadmap to get there. That's what I'm going to provide. All right. So I'm opening it up now for questions or comments. Comments are always good too. Sheila, this was great information. Thank you so much. Glad I signed up. You are certainly welcome, Sheila. My pleasure. Deborah, great as always. Thanks, Susan. You are welcome. Yeah, so this bootcamp's a little different than all the other ones that I've done. I usually just do straight training. This bootcamp is a combination of training, but it's also implementing. So you're actually building something from the ground up that you can use to run your business. You're also learning a new skill, which will help you control your most valuable asset. Julie, lots of great information. Thank you so much. You are welcome. My pleasure. I'm going to change the slide real quick so you guys can see my contact information. So real quick, just quick review. We looked at selecting a hosting provider, what information you need to have on your website, the best theme for you, which plugins to use, and best practices. Where's my contact? Oh, there we go. I forgot my contact information there. Oh, you're welcome, Jaquita. So don't delay. I'm sure this will go quickly. Once I open this up, just the first 10 from this, but it's also for the people who are on the recording. So we had close to 100 people sign up. So I know the first 10 will go quickly. So if you're thinking that you want to do this, don't delay. If you want to know more about the easy payments, send me an email, Susan@techiementor.com. It's either the Techie Mentor or Techie Mentor. They'll both come to me. And I'll be happy to talk you through that. It's a 3 easy pay system for you. Any other questions or comments? I thank you so much for your time. I know I went a little over. I apologize for that. So much information, so little time. Paul, what websites would you recommend for us to learn more about WordPress? You can go, YouTube has free videos. I have a couple of free videos. It depends on what you're looking to learn, Paul. I mean, there are places you can go to learn, but they're great for do-it-yourselfers, but a lot of times they don't give you the whole story and they leave you frustrated. So, YouTube is great. I have a couple of free videos, but you can certainly start there. Oh, Gretchen, you're welcome. Thank you for your time. You're welcome, Paul. Anybody else questions or comments before I let you go for the rest of this afternoon? Great. Well, I thank you again so much for your time today. I will be sending out this recording within the next 24 hours. And again, if this is interest to you, please jump on this because the price is going to go up in the next time I hold this course. You are welcome. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thanks again. If I can be of any assistance, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. And thanks again for your time. Talk to you soon.